Hello and welcome to Scriptcase. My name is Jamie and I am your host today. Today we are creating a QR code reader which you can use on a mobile phone, on a tablet, or pretty much anywhere. It's a really awesome little platform scripty that you can add very easily within Scriptcase. So let's have a quick look, shall we? So within this platform, or within this application, should I say, we have the possibility of having QR codes in here. I added these during the live webinar. We don't need to have these, but this was just as an example. And for instance, we can come here to scan a code. And now if I launch my camera, it scans the QR code and directly adds then the code in here. So let me do another one. I will scan this one and let me give that a few moments this time before flashing my phone there. Okay, so there's my phone and there's the QR code. And it does also work with barcodes, a variety of barcodes. I've tried a variety of them out. And you see, depending on the focus of the camera, it will scan it and add it in there. So let's go ahead and do another one. And let me create a different type of QR code. So an EAN 13, and that is 12 characters long. Okay, so that's a barcode, and if I add that, it will add the code, scan it once it gets into the focus. There we go, and then it will add the code into the page. Okay, so let's give it another go here with the scan code again, and this time with a QR code once more, and then you can see it update. And there it updates here. Now it actually adds the code within the page as well. And you just can't really see that because the field is just below the window. And at the same time, the code, well, it flips by so quickly and redirects you here so quickly and adds that into the database really nicely, smoothly and beautifully. I love this. I actually really like this piece of script. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and create that today, and we shall start by creating a new project. Of course, you may have to log in like I do now, and then you can go ahead and start to create it. So we will start by creating a new project, a blank project, and here I will call the project QR code reader. Okay, I can add a description, add an icon and everything. I won't bother. I will just go next and get to the next point. Now I am using a MySQL database, so I will select it and then I will go ahead and show it to you. So if I scroll down here, we have it down here, QR payments, test the connection and go next. I can go ahead and add more languages now, but I'm not going to. We do that in plenty of videos, also with the theme and everything else. Let me just continue on, create until we get to our final step so we can create our applications. Okay, so to the database, let me open that up and we can check that out. So within our database, we have the QR payments table as I have here, and it is just a simple table. And if I open that up, we have the ID payment, descript for description, due date, value, payment, pay date, pay code, and the issue code or the issue date. So of course the fields can change. Now the field that really matters is this one here, which is the pay code, and that is then scanned from the barcode or the QR code or PIX code or whatever code you are generating that you can basically scan with this application. And we will have a look at this a little more in a moment. For now, let's just go ahead and continue here with the database. So we have the basic fields which you would then want to include a due date, a payment date, maybe a pay date, as well as an issue date or creation date and so forth. And those can then, of course, be added into your database. So to start off with, we will create a grid application, and the grid application is, of course, tied here to the payments table, which we have just created. And then once we have our table selected, we also want to choose here the also create a form, okay? And that will then also generate the form for us at the same time. And I will go ahead and click the create button, and that will create that for us very quickly and easily. And now we have, first of all, our grid payments open. It is generating both applications, okay? It is not, however, opening the two of them. It is only opening the one and generating the two. So once that has finished generating, I will then come here to the home. That's why I'm already there hovering, so that I can also open up here the form payments. And of course, once that has finished generating, it will automatically open the grid application for us. And there we can then see the data that we had just seen within the database. It's nothing special, but of course we will want to add some functionality to this. For the form payments, let's have a quick look at this one, because this will be just a very basic form. And the only thing I really want to change here is maybe the pay code. So let me come down here to the fields, and then here the pay code field, and then that I will want to maybe add 8 lines in here or 6 lines, maybe also increase the amount of characters in here, and then go ahead and run the application. Right, then with the form there, you have a larger box there for the pay code, which could be, of course, a large piece of code that you could have there. And that is then what we want to then scan with our scanner. And all of that is done, well, not here within our grid payments, but within a control application. So I will go ahead and create the control application now, and I will call it Control QR Scanner. Okay, and just create that, and that will then create a new control application for me. And now in this control application, I want to start by adding 2 fields. Add 2 as a quantity, click on next, and then I can choose here the field type. And what I want to choose is, well, is for our first field here, the label field. And then the second field, well, this I want it to be a text field. So the first field, I will call this scanner. And then the second field, I will just call that code. And then click create. So the first field we will attach our scanner to, which will then create the scanning box essentially. And then, so the code box will then contain the scanned code from the barcode. Okay, so we need to make some further adjustments here, but first let's have a look at our external libraries, because we want to attach an external library to this. And this external library will provide us with this scanning feature. So again, here I will call it scanner and click on create. Scroll back down again and then choose to use the library, and then make sure that this green tick that we have here to the left is more prominent. And then we can choose here save the project libraries, and that will then store this library with our project. I can then go ahead and edit that and add new library files to this as and whenever I want to. Okay, so the library we are adding is here this scan app. And we have the GitHub page as well as the documentation for the introduction. And the GitHub page is where, of course, the introduction leads to. So you may want to check out this GitHub page first, github.com/mebjas/HTML5-QR code. Now here you can check out this little library. It's pretty awesome. You can scan all sorts of barcodes with this. I've tested all sorts and they've all worked very well. And with that, then you can, well, you can have some fun, because I know you can then do lots of things with that data. And that is, of course, important. Okay, so check that out. You have all the links here, as well as all the information, a bit of some snippets, some bits of code and so forth. It's all in here as well. And that is, of course, the introduction that we're looking at now. And this is there available to you. You have here all the information that you need on creating all of these elements and containers and everything else. Okay, so it's all there in case you want to make any adjustments or any customizations. Well, you can do so. Okay, so to the external library, I have, of course, downloaded that already. If you have not, you can get that from here at the top of the page. At the top here, you can access here the code button and there download the zip. That is exactly the same zip file I will be now uploading to the platform. Okay, so if I now click the upload button, I can now drag and drop that zip file over here to this box. And I want to leave here to extract the zip file at the end of the upload to the current folder so that it also extracts all of the files and then deletes the zip file. Okay, and then of course we go OK. So I'll click OK and those files will then be extracted. Okay, so let's have a quick look at these files. Inside of here we have a load of files in here, but what we really want to use is in here the minified HTML5 QRcode.min.js file. This is what we will be using within our control QR scanner here. Okay, so within our control QR scanner control form, we want to come here to the onScriptInit event. And in here, we want to basically just echo out now our piece of code. Okay, and just like that, we can basically add now the script that we need to use. So we'll start typing in here script, and we want then our source. And if I close that up, of course, because we want to close that up, can't forget closing that up. That would otherwise give us some errors. Okay, so in here, we can then start to add our script. And of course, for that, we have a beautiful Scriptcase macro, and we want to use that. So let's go ahead and start using the sc_url_library macro. And this is a really cool macro because it allows us then to use our external libraries. Okay, so you of course want to be able to use this one. It's good. So right, if I come in here then, and if I add here first of all for the project, because that's where the files are located, we added that into the project, not the public location. And we also called that the scanner folder, did we? Let's actually double check that. Okay, so we scrolled all the way down and we see down here we have the scanner, and that's what we called it. So that is then what we want to add in here. And then we want to then also add the full path of the JavaScript file. And that is then, well, it's a little longer, so I'm going to paste that in here. That's HTML5-QRcode-master/minified and so forth. Okay, so just like that, I've now added that library to this application. Okay, so what I also then need to do is, we need to add some more here, because if I run it, let's go ahead and run it and make sure there's no errors, because we could get an error now if there was something wrong with this macro. Okay, so there's no errors, everything is good, we can use it, which is great, right? So what we want to do then is initiate then the JavaScript for this, because yes, this is a JavaScript library, so I need to initiate that when the form loads. So I'll say form onload and then click edit, and now I can access the onload event. Okay, so here on the form onload event, we want to add here the JavaScript code that we need to actually access our reader. So explain a little bit what we are doing here. We are first of all creating two variables which access here the container which we are going to create in a minute, QR reader results, and that will then loop through the results that are available, if there are any, and if not, and so forth. And then we have here a function which says, well, if the scan is a success, then we want to decode that text. Basically right here, we decode that text, and then we place that text here into our field. Okay, so that is here the ID_SC_field_code. And you will not have that straight away. You will have to grab that. So, and of course, these two fields are actually added afterwards. Okay, so we have here, first of all, the console log, and we check the results within console. So you can check that in console also. And if there's any problems, then it will more than likely be here because of your variables, and we will need to confirm these because, they may not be correct. So let me first of all save that, and of course I can come back here to the form onload again, edit, and make sure that it's still there. I can double check that, but before we finish up, we want to come here to the onValidate, and in onValidate we also want to add some code here. So here I want to go code, and here I want to use the SC underscore SQL underscore injection macro. Okay, so that will then help me protect the code that is then basically being generated or read, should I say, by your scanner. So I'll do that by adding here the curly brackets to target that onto the code field, which we have here, okay? And that will then protect that variable for me. And then on top of that, we want to go sc underscore exec underscore SQL. And there I have a plus instead of an underscore. Okay, so and there with that, of course, we want to then go ahead and update our database. So we go ahead and update, and it was the payments table, and there we want to set then the pay code, and that wants to then basically equal here our code variable that we have pretty much just created, right? And then where is then the next question. So where the ID payment, well, because we have one payment, will then equal a global variable which we now define or / create, and that will then basically update the dedicated ID or specific ID which we are going to pass along in a minute. Now on top of that, we want to then use the sc redir macro and then redirect the user to the grid payments, and there we want to actually add that then also redirect the parent. Okay, so we want to add here the parent in here so that the parent application is basically redirected. So what I would do is I will comment that out for now and save that, and let's go ahead and run and see if we have any errors. Okay, and we also want to double check our fields. So we don't need an ID right now, so I'll just add one in there. It doesn't really matter what it is. And here we have our fields. Well, we are missing here our code still. So let's come back here to our field, and then we can access now our field scanner. And here then we want to paste this piece of code here, which is then the QR reader field, as well as then the QR reader results field. And of course, we've seen these here within the snippets of code on the onload event. Now, if I go ahead and click on the run button, that will then start the form for me again. And well, let's see now if we now have our scanner there. And there we go. We now have our scanner there. So I can actually select yes. There we go. There's the camera. So I can actually check that out now. Okay, so typically it does ask you if you want to verify that if you want to use the camera. In this case, it hasn't done because I have literally just used it a few minutes ago. So let's go ahead, and then there's the first QR code, and there we go. Must be 20 characters. And that is actually down to the field here. So let's come back here to our form, and here we have our code field, because this is very important within the control application. It limits by default the maximum size here to 200. So if I go ahead and add, say, well, a few thousand in there, and then run that again, that will then display that better. But in fact, before we do that, let's go ahead and increase the size of this field, and there we can then go ahead and make those adjustments. Of course, maybe adding here the field size of the database would be good, because that is nowhere, and that is then also very good for the control form. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that again. Now if I add here ID 1 and enter, so it requests camera permission, there I now have the camera, and if I scan that, there is then the URL that I have just scanned. Okay, so that's lovely. That works beautifully. So we want to then go ahead and add that now here to our grid payments. So here within our grid payments, I can come here to the action bar, and here I want to create a new button. And I will start by adding, first of all, a link button, and click next. And well, yes, it can't be null. So here I will add scanner, because that will link then to our scanner here that we have. And I would change this here from Font Awesome to a button, and have Font Awesome and text. Now for the Font Awesome icon, I will add a bar in here for barcode, and there we have that. And I can add some text in here, maybe reader or scanner or whatever you like. I can then save that button, and now link it to the application. So if I now go next, I am now requested for the ID pay, which is here our ID payment. So that works beautifully straight away. I can confirm that and also leave here open in the same window. I don't want to delete anything, and then just click save. So just like that, I have now added here a nice scanner button that will then pass that on here to our reader, which is awesome. Let's go ahead and add one more button in here. And well, this button, we want this button to do a little more. We in fact want this button to go ahead and update the grid for us, or the database, should I say. So we will choose Ajax, and here I'll call this update button, and or in fact confirm. Let's call it confirm because it could be a confirmation of payment button. And well, this button we could add multiple states here if we wanted to. I'm just going to add one state. It's cool. And here, well, let's add some sort of update here. I don't know. Let's add the finger. The finger is always good, pointing up, hand pointing up. So it's not the finger, but it's the hand pointing up. So that's good because, well, that's what we want to do. So I'll save that. I'm forced to add the text. So let's add some text then. So let's say confirm and save the button and confirm the Ajax. That's a shame we can't just have the icon. That would be nice. But yes, still good. Now, if I come in here, now what we want to do then is go ahead and update our payment table. So as we had done before, we want to use the sc_exec, okay, underscore SQL macro. And with that, then we can very easily update our database. So in here, then I will then add update, payments again, and set pay date. And there we actually want the date. And well, what date do we want? Well, we want the now date. So let's add the now and the date. So we have everything in there. And then we want to also update the payment. And that, well, that only equals now. Okay, so I'm sure many of you know what that means. And if you don't, well, that's what Google's there for. Okay, so ID payment. So that equals then ID payment, which will of course be our field variable in this case. Okay, so here we have our fields and our ID field payment here, which is right there. And that is then basically what we are going to update. Now, once we've done that, well, we're not finished because what do we want to do? We want to update the grid. So let's go ahead and say sc_ajax_refresh so that the grid is then automatically updated for us. Magic, right? So save that, and then let's go ahead and run the new grid application. And there we have now two buttons, read it and confirm. And I'm sorry, I'm going to go back into the buttons again because the action bar is lovely. And well, I don't like how they're looking. So I'm going to really quickly change here the button visual style. And I would choose red for one. Okay, the button hover, I'll leave that as it is. And then for the other, let's go ahead and adjust that one here to green. And when that one hovers, well, we'll make it red. Okay, so we've added a little functionality in there, if that is even a word. But yes, it will be a little funky. Okay, so look at that. Now we have a red button and a green button. That looks awesome. So now we can just click on that. We can now scan our code. Let's grab that again because yes, we are in the process of scanning. There we go. Let's scan that again. And okay, we need to add now our redirect back in there again, back into our control QR scanner application to the onValidate event. And here we want to remove there the comment and save that. And now let's go ahead and of course, generate all of our applications. And just like that, of course, we're only generating the one. If there were more there, it would generate all of them. And well, yes, in those cases we would want to. But note, it also updates the external libraries. Okay, so now that's there. Let's go ahead, come back here to the reader again and requesting camera, adding the picture, and there we go, updated with the new data received from the scanner. And if I click here on confirm, well, that now should be updating the dates. And here we have now, this is updating. Okay, so excellent. So we are pretty much done. And there you have it, a barcode scanner /reader that you can apply to Scriptcase applications very easily. And you see in a few minutes I've applied it. Piece of cake. It really nice. I actually really enjoyed this one. I didn't get it working the first time round, and I'll show you why really quickly. So before we finish up, what you want to pay attention to here is where you have here the scanner. If I click here on the reader again, here the code field, if I inspect that, we have then here our values for the input. Okay, so here we have the ID. That is the ID that you then want for the onload event. Okay, so that is very important, and that then attaches here within the JavaScript, if I can find it. Within the control QR application, of course, not in the grid application, we have here the form, onload, edit, and within here, we have then here the ID field code. Okay, and that is then here. And then we also have here the OK button. And if I inspect that, here we have the ID sub_form_B, and that is just as I have here. So thankfully, I did not have to make any adjustments. It's probably because when I did the live webinar session, because yes, this is the third time I'm creating this now. The live webinar went beautifully, and yes, I got it working straight the first time round. So the second time, sorry. The first time, of course, yes, it was late. I wasn't paying. I was getting the wrong ID. I wasn't grabbing this ID. So that is something that you want to pay attention to. And of course, the button ID. And if you have those correct, you should not have any problems other than, of course, maybe your own variables that here for the results and here for the QR reader for the field. If you make adjustments there, then do, of course, pay attention to those. Before we finish up, I want to add one more feature here to the grid payments, which of course we have in the presentation there. So I'm going to apply those here as well. So here within the grid, let's add 3 new fields. And what we're going to do is group some of the data that we have here. Instead of having it all in one field or 3 fields or 6 fields, we can place 2 fields in one. So here I will set my field type as a field grouping, and I will do that for all 3 fields. And I would call the first field ID, as I do not have an ID here, and I'll say ID pay. And the second one, I'll call it create dates. And the next one, I will call this one pay dates. Okay, so there I can go ahead and click create. And then with these 3 new fields, if I come here to ID pay, first of all, I will add here the ID payment and the description, save that. And here, if I go ahead and run that now, we can see what that looks like with those 2 fields together. And there we have now the ID and the description. If I wanted to, I can remove the label from that. So here I can just have the value instead, and even place the label positioning on the side, for instance, and that would even just place that on the side if there was one now, because we've of course now removed it from the field. Okay, so let's do that also for the create date. Let's go here, the due date, and then also the issue date. And there we have both of those there. And then for the pay dates, we can add then here the pay date and then also the payment. And just like that, then we have those fields there. We'll leave the values and everything there this time and set them to beside, and also do that also here for the create dates. Set those labels as beside. Now, if I go ahead and save that and then come into my edit fields, I can then just drag and drop those and remove those fields that I've actually just added now and add those in here. So there we had the issue date, the pay date, as well as the payment, and the due date we had there also. So there we had then the create dates and then the pay dates. Now if I go ahead and pay again, we then have a completely different layout for our grid application. And just like that, we have, well, a different style here for our grid with relevant data grouped together, as well as then all of the reader information. So that is it then. We have a fully working grid with an awesome little reader there. Make sure you check it out, download it, install it, abuse it. As I always say, it's available for you to reuse within Scriptcase. Go ahead and check that out. And of course, if you want to learn more about Scriptcase, be sure to check out my own channel, Scriptcase by Jamie, where you can learn a great deal more about Scriptcase, or of course, even join our membership and get some goodies. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next time.